Today makes it exactly 1 month to the start of the Formula One season. As we are anticipating, the teams are also doing everything, gearing up to make the season a spectacular one for themselves. So the pre-season testing has been going on for a couple of days right now. Teams just wrapped up that for Barcelona, and they are heading now to Bahrain to continue the preseason testing ahead of the new season. So let's quickly talk about something. The FIA, that's the governing body of Formula One, ahead of the new season, brought up some set of new rules, which happens to be the biggest shakeup in the sport in over a decade. That's about 12 years ago when we saw a major shift in Formula One as regarding the rules. And that's one thing we want to talk about right now. So the rules are in two phases. One, it's the chassis regulations and also the power unit regulations, which the FIA has brought into existence this time around. Now, for the chassis regulation, this affects the size, the shape, and the aerodynamics of the cars, as we're about to see cars appear lighter, uh, also narrower, and being able to move as against hair. That's aerodynamics, and there's less downforce for the cars as against the previous rule. So for the power unit regulation, we're about to see how the engines are being designed and how power is being used and produced. So there's going to be a power unit overhaul, as we're about to see a power shift this time, as it's going to be a split in 50-50 between advanced sustainable fuel and also electrical energy. So it promises to be an exciting season as we get to see how teams get to set out and build their cars from the scratch. So that's what we're going to be seeing this new season. The last 4 times that we got to see regulation changes, we saw new champions emerge from the constructors, meaning that we saw different teams take the title for the constructors. Will it change this time around? McLaren seems to be the one that has been dominating right now, but are we about to see a shift with the new regulations? Time will tell as at that. So in this new rule, the cars can adjust themselves. That's the angle of the front and the rear wing according to the area of the track they are on. That. And one of the key changes is that there is no longer DRS. DRS is no longer in existence. That's the drag reductive system, where drivers would now switch to something called the overtake mode. Now this time around, they get to activate this when they're in straight within 1 second of the other driver, or within 1 second, or if they are defending a particular position. Now when they activate this mode and they are in straights, they tend to flatten the wing and open up the flaps of the car. That's the wings of the car at this time around, and it gets to have an effective change as the car develops a reduced drag, and with that we get to see much more faster cars with the overtake mode. Another key change that the FIA has brought into existence is the elimination of the DRS, that's the drag reductive system, with one called the overtake mode, where drivers within 1 second of the other driver or trying to defend a position tend to activate this mode by making the car flatten the wings, and also reduces drags and boosting top speed. So we get to see drivers activate this mode with just a tap of a button. So the overtake mode can be used within 1 second for attacking drivers that you have ahead of you. That's for them, and it also aids them in extracting extra energy from their car batteries. There's also another button aside the overtake mode, which is the boost button. Also works like the overtake, but this time around it can be used for defense and also for attacking, as long as they have enough electrical energy in their batteries. So they get to extract this energy by boosting the car to use. So we have 3 buttons: the overtake mode, the boost button, and also a recharge button, all to eliminate the DRS, which is the drag reductive system, which is no longer in existence this time around. So we're not going to be hearing DRX enabled or DRS activated. There's going to be the overtake mode, the boost button, and the recharge button, which has been added as part of the new rules. and regulations in Formula One for this season. So for the power unit change, it's still going to be the 1.6 liter V6 turbo engine, but the power balance has changed right now as the internal combustion energy is no longer in use, and it's going to be a power split between petrol and electric charge. Now, this is the first time F1 is going to be using this particular 50-50 split between petrol and electric energy. It was trialed in the Formula 2 and Formula 3 last season. That's for the advanced sustainable fuel. But right now, it has been brought into F1 after the experiment in the two lower competitions, but this time around F1 is bringing it into existence, and we're going to be seeing it this season on the top level, top flight of Formula One. Now, this fuel, the advanced sustainable fuel that is going to be used, is from cutting-edge sources like municipal waste, non-food biomass, and carbon capture. So it's interesting. Let's see how that is sustainable in F1 this particular season. In summary, one thing you need to know is that Formula One cars will continue to be fast and cool to watch, and these are the rules that you get to see from teams and how they are going to be effectively used by these teams, because we know this attacking and defending tactics is going to come into play. So this also tends to see how they are going to make judicious use of these tools, high-tech, tighter rules this time around. And this is where the technicality comes to play by these teams, because we know it can make or break the teams in finishing positions and extracting maximum performance from each of their cars and the setup they've made. So faster cars, new rules, tighter rules basically, and high-tech technology, yes, is going to be used basically in this one, and also the advanced sustainable fuels and how they are going to make judicious use of each and every of these new rules. So we can't wait to see how these teams are going to deploy each of these rules from the testing. From the testing, they should be able to make one or two things out of what they've been able to build so far. Remember, I said that it's the first time in a long while where we get to see teams build their cars from the scratch. I can't wait to see it, and let's see how the season goes for that. So that's it for the new rules, power unit changes, and the chassis regulation. So for this season also, we're still going to be having teams providing certain teams with their own power units for this season. So let me reel out some of the power unit partnerships that we're having for 2026. For Mercedes, AMG Petronas, they are still going to provide themselves with their power unit manufacturers. So we're going to see them provide themselves with their own power units alongside McLaren, the Williams, and Alpine. So those are the teams that Mercedes would be providing power units for this season. For Ferrari, that's the Scuderia Ferrari. They're going to be providing power units for Haas, and the new team Cadillac. We can't wait to see that from the new team. Red Bull will be partnered with Ford after the long partnership and relationship they had with Honda over the season and years ago. So we're about to see a new power unit change for Red Bull. It's going to be Ford, and Honda. We just ended partnership with Red Bull. They are going to be providing power units for Aston Martin this season. Remember, Aston Martin have a new team principal who left to Red Bull, talking about Andy Newey. So let's see how that partnership works between Honda and Aston Martin. And lastly, we have a new team, formerly Sauber, Kick Sauber basically, but right now it's going to be called Audi. So Audi are providing their own power units for their team Audi this season.